turn me up, boss.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Wisdom Walkers podcast, where I'm your host, Javante Blackman. Just to remind everybody, we are in season 2 of this thing, man. It is a promo hub for my new book, Walking with Wisdom. And in the building today, I got one of my favorite mentors in the world, Mr. Luc St. Hilaire is in the building. Muck Made Product. What's going on, Luke?
Man, doing good, man. Happy to be here, man. Happy to be on your podcast, man. Happy to support what you got going on, man. I'm excited.
Hey, man, all glory to God, bro. I appreciate you for being here, man. So we're going to dive right in. All right, Luke, icebreaker question. I like to break the ice for all of my guests that come on to the show. So this is a question for you. What would you say is the best part about being an entrepreneur?
Woo! I would say for me, the best part is having the freedom to create.
Okay.
I love being an entrepreneur because I can create. I can literally have an agenda, put a goal up, and I can create around it. I can create, jobs for people. I can create experiences for people. I can grow a brand. I have the ability to create, and it's just like how God had the ability to create us.
Right.
He made us in His image. So I think one of my greatest joys as an entrepreneur is the fact that I can create.
I love it, man. I love it. You are definitely a creator, man. So shout out to you for that. I've had the pleasure to work for you, in your company, man. So for those of you who don't know, Luke is the owner and CEO of Elite Campus Movers out of Tallahassee, Florida, man. And it is the best moving company, in my opinion, in the world, but definitely in the state of Florida, man. Tremendous. Just system that he has, the organization, the workers, the environment that he breeds is all to grow not only just a business, but grow men. And I've had the pleasure of being able to work in that system, man, and become a better man from freshman in college to even past graduation, man. I was still rocking with Elite, man. And so he definitely is just a cultivator of the Elite way. All right, Luke. So we got a couple questions for you on the podcast today. And we're going to start with question number 1, man. So what does wisdom mean to you, and who is the first person that comes to mind when you think of wisdom?
Wisdom to me is the ability to apply knowledge in the correct place. Use knowledge and know how to apply it correctly. When I think about wisdom, the first person that I think about when it comes to wisdom is my father. That's the first person I think about when I think about wisdom. How he had the foresight when he came to America. Going to school. Growing. My father was in Fort Lauderdale, Miami area, and then having the wisdom to move to Belgrade, to create Belgrade, to start a work and a mission in Belgrade, to start an after-school program, to start a church, and to use wisdom dealing with family members, dealing with church members, dealing with friends. That's my first thought of wisdom.
And that's amazing, because I've had the pleasure of meeting your father and your whole family. Your father definitely is a personification of wisdom, man. Shout out to Pastor Morales, man. He's a GOAT in my opinion, man. Pastor is a GOAT, man. So I definitely agree. Well, for me, I've been echoing this since I started this thing, man. My mom is definitely a person who personifies that principle to me, and it's just who she is. When I realized how the Bible describes wisdom, and I thought about all the people in my life that I've had the pleasure of meeting and doing life with, she just was full body, top to bottom, that personification for me. Being somebody who is just very, very methodical, very strategic, but also very she don't move without God. You know what I'm saying? And for me, that was wow, man, I love it. I love it, man. All right, let's go to question 2 for you. So when you consider all the areas in which you serve, you're a husband, you're a father, you're a business owner, you're a minister, Man, you the GOAT. That's me. For sure. how much do you value, or how much value does the principle of wisdom hold for you as a man? Just as a man in general, being able to wear all those different hats. How much value does that principle hold for you?
I think wisdom, for me, wisdom is everything for me.
Mm.
Those different areas, the way that I balance those different areas is with wisdom. One thing that I did when I was in college, and now I'm looking back, I'm like, man, I didn't know like God was preparing me for that. I used to read Proverbs every day. I used to just run through Proverbs like chapter 1 through chapter 30, 31. Like when I say I used to go into Proverbs, I used to break it down. I used to highlight when I was in college, especially right after I graduated from college. Like I was in that thing, and I would just read. I'm like, why am I reading it so much? And it was so rich for me. What I didn't know was at that time, God was planting that thing, those proverbs in my heart. Mm-hmm. And then so now, as a man, when I make a decision, I use wisdom.
Yeah.
Instead of dealing with my emotion, instead of dealing with what is going on at the time,
right.
I sit back and say, you know what should I do? Like if it's a bad situation, in a good situation, if I have to make a move, okay, what is wisdom in this situation? And sometimes wisdom for me is listening to somebody else. What does somebody else have to say? What does my GM have to say? What does my wife have to say? What do my kids have to say?
Yeah.
You know, what in the church have to say to me? Like just really honing in and focusing in on not just what I think, but a lot of my wisdom comes from what others think that I should do, and what are others hearing from God. You know?
Yeah, man, you said a mouthful just then. So the title of this episode is Wise Counsel, and in my book, and I think it's chapter 10, I talk about the power of wise counsel and how our wisdom is around other people's wisdom. And sometimes they're older than us, sometimes they're younger than us, but our wisdom sits with the cup. And she listens to the wisdom of other people. And what is for us goes into the cup, and what is not for us misses the cup. And it's powerful when you are able to find people around you in your community, in your home, in your business world, wherever, that have a relationship with wisdom that you can gain from. That you can use, they have wisdom that you can pour into your life, but also you have wisdom that you can pour into their life. And I think that I really, really, I would say, fell in love with the idea of having wise counsel being around you. Like, my time spent in Tallahassee was very, very intentional. Like, I was very intentional about who I was around, the people that I was around, the circles I put myself in. And it was all because I knew somewhere along the lines that I would need what these people were pouring into my life. And it came from me spending time as a kid in Belgrade reading Proverbs. That's how I came to God, to be honest with you. Like, I remember sitting with this book and flipping through the Bible, and I was like, man, I don't know what I should be reading, and Proverbs just stuck out. And it was a very easy reading kind of book. And it almost reminded me of, the Dr. Seuss kind of books when I would read it with my mom. And so I would just remember reading that by myself and then going through it, and just certain things kind of just stuck out to me. So the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean out on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. Man makes plans, but God establishes His ways. Different proverbs like that always kind of just stuck out to me as a jit. And so as I got older, I just dove that deeper into it. And it was amazing to me how this one book was put in the Bible to help us do life better. And that is how I felt like I was drawn to this principle of wisdom. And from there, man, God just took it and He's been doing His thing with it in my life. So it's kingdom minded. You know what I'm saying? I value that, bro. I value that. All right, let's go to question 2. Go ahead.
I said I was gonna tell you, man, that wise counsel, man, like that's what my life has been. Like my successes in life, and even going through my highs and my lows, has been the way that got me through is with wise counsel. Because like when I tell you, like, you need people who know more than you, and you need people who may have different experiences than you. Even though, like, I claim, like, someone can be younger than me and I'll glean from them. They don't necessarily have to be, you're on my level. You have to be up there. If you're not a business owner, I don't want to hear from you. If you haven't been in the know, man, what do you have to offer, man? Because you may be in this thing for 1 year or 6 months, but you have a concept, you have a system, you have a way of thinking that can assist in going to the next level, man. So I'm not, bro. When I tell you, like, bro, we good, bro. Like that wise counsel. I feel like every man and every woman needs a core hope of friends, family members, older and younger, that can give you that counsel.
Absolutely. And it's all about choosing the right people. I think a lot of times we have access to these people, but we want people who are more successful than us, or we want to talk to the top dogs. So in the book, I talk about how I used to be one of those people who would dream about having a conversation with Jay-Z or Barack or LeBron, and like, oh, if I could have a conversation with these people, I would be so successful. I would be much more ahead in whatever aspect. I would have the keys to the game. Whole time, my cousin, who, if I just picked up the phone and called him, has the gems that I need to get to the next level. And maybe these people people I went to school with has the gems for me to get to the next level. And so in the book, I talk about how we need to invite the right people to our table and stop looking for the best people or the most successful people, and invite the people who are right in front of us to our table in whatever area that we aspire to, have success in. So if it's a marriage, invite the cousin who you don't talk to, who be out the way, who got a healthy marriage. Talk to them, invite them to your table. That family friend who is always about their business and you never see them, but when you do see them pop out, they are succeeding in their business, they're thriving in their business, and they're not mainstream, but they're doing very, very well. Invite them to your table, because those are the minds that you need to glean from, because those are the minds that are in front of you. It would be way, ideal to have these conversations with these mega millionaires, but those people aren't in front of you. And 9 times out of 10, their success is so overnight or so out of whack that it's not realistic. But if you sat down with real people that are in the trenches, that really got it out in the mud, they'll show you how to get to the next level, and that'll be more beneficial for you. So those are the people who I have had the pleasure of being around, with you, with my other mentors, who I've invited to the table, and you guys are a part of my wise counsel. And man, I'm telling you, the same way you feel like all your success is because of the wise counsel that you have, that's a gem I picked up from you. Like, having the right people in your corner, it makes the world of a difference, man. So I'm grateful to have you on my team and everybody else, man. So shout out to the wise counsel, man, because y'all lit. I love y'all. I love y'all. All right, let's go to question 2. What are some standards you have for yourself that were established because of the wisdom you walk with?
Ooh, some standards that I have for myself. That was established. The wisdom that I walk with is don't quit. Don't quit. Like the wisdom of don't quit is not one of just like your traditional, hey, don't quit, don't give it. It's give it time. Because sometimes we quit because it's not coming as fast as we think it should come.
Right.
When in reality, it takes time. It takes time.
Yeah.
Like, even with my business, I started the business in 2011, but right around 2015, I was going to give up on the business, just because it had gotten real hard. It wasn't fun. I didn't feel like doing it anymore. It just felt very redundant. I just had to do too much, and I just wanted it. It was like, yeah, we're making money, but it's just it was. I was stuck in the mud, and I was about to quit, and I was praying, and God was like, "Don't abort your baby. Don't abort your baby." And in my mind, I'm like, man, maybe this baby got to get aborted, because maybe I need to start another business.
Yeah.
God was like, because again, you can start another business, but you're going to get to this same point at this same time in the next business that you start.
Right.
And when you give up, you're going, because either you stay here, you pass this test, or you try to redo it again, but you're going to have to go through this test again.
For sure.
So don't quit. That the wisdom of don't quit showed me to say, okay, let me stick with it.
Yeah.
Let me have a different mindset in attacking my company or attacking my life. Let me think about it differently. Let me ask God for help. Let me seek out help. Let me seek how to make myself better. And when I said that was the best decision I made, because it taught me as a young man that things may not always go my way, but if I stick it out, if I fight, eventually it will be more than what I expected. So that's one of the wisdom keys that I use. Like, don't quit. It may be tough. It may be hard. Hey, man, I'm going to figure it out.
And you know what's crazy? So I talked about how my mom is, the personification of wisdom for me. And for those of you who've been rocking with the podcast, you know that my mom passed away almost 2 years ago. So what a lot of people don't know is that I was supposed to have an older brother, and my mom had a miscarriage. And I'm reminded when you say don't quit of her tenacity not to quit and give up on having a child. Had she quit, I wouldn't have been born. My brother wouldn't have been born. And so that standard of don't quit, I share those same sentiments, man. So even now, as I go through life, bro, I'm reminded of, I can't quit. Not because it's hard, or not because it's not difficult. Like everything that I'm doing, from the small things to the grand things, the things nobody really knows about, the things I'm working on that's behind the scenes, it's tough, but I can't quit. I can't quit. And every conversation, go ahead, I'm listening.
I said it's so funny that the older generation teaches us a younger generation, like because us as the younger generation, we want stuff so fast. Like stuff has been accessible so fast. We learn faster. We have technology. Yeah. But even with all that, there's certain things that just take time.
Just take time.
I don't know if this may not be a religious broadcast, but
it is.
Even things that are in the spirit take time. Things that are in the natural, our relationships with each other take time. I was with my wife the other day. I was like, yo, I remember meeting Javante in 2015 when we went to go speak at Glade Central. She was like, Javante was there? I don't remember Javante. I was like, nah, Javante was there. He was selling socks.
I was selling socks.
He said, really? I was like, yeah, he was selling. He gave me a pair or something.
I did.
He gave me a pair of socks. I think I even met your mom that day.
I think
we was in the gym. I met her that day. Yes, and I'm like, it was just, but that relationship and me, I'm not even thinking. I'm thinking, okay, I'm meeting this guy, from Belglade, cool young cat, doing some things. He's coming up to fam, but I'm thinking, hey, he's coming up to fam. I don't even think we're going to connect and be friends and grow in a relationship that we are. But it's time that gave it, that we're sharing stuff and not even knowing that time that you, even though you're younger than me, but the pivotal of you losing your mom before I lost my mom.
Right.
And knowing, and here's the crazy thing. Knowing when it happened, I was going to have to walk in that shoe too. I was at your mom's funeral, and my mom is right across the street.
Right.
And sick. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
yeah.
I'm gonna have to walk through this and seeing your strength. And I'm with Andrew, and I'm like, man, how Javante this strong? I'm like, bro, hey, bro, what is going on here? Like walking, but seeing you walk through that and not even understanding, like, man, you're showing me something. You're training me. Hey, man, this is how you need to be. This is how you're going to need to represent. This is how you're going to need to stand tall in this situation. But that comes with time. That comes with wisdom. That comes with, hey, man, even though someone is younger than me, I'm able to be able to learn from them.
Yeah, man. Yeah. In the book, the theme of this podcast comes from the third part of my book where we talk about wisdom walkers. And there are 3 principles that every wisdom walker needs to have. You need strategy, you need intentionality, and then you need patience. And so patience is one of those ones that I feel like as the younger generation, we do struggle with, like you said earlier, because we haven't mastered the art of delayed gratification. We want everything fast. And the thing that I've learned through this season of losing my mom, being in the trenches, and even a little bit of working with you and being a part of the elite team is this: the best things take time. Getting out of tough situations take time. The hardest moves that we had with Elite took time, Luke. They took time, bro. They took time. And so when I think about my life and the journey that I've been on, man, bruh, you hit me with some stuff I had forgot about. But it was all about me understanding that the little hustles and the little nuggets that I had growing up, from selling socks to selling candy to doing T-shirts to you know, to selling books to everything that I was doing, man, it all took time. And at 26, it's a hard thing to swallow, it's a hard pill to swallow. But I have to remind myself, like, hey man, relax, like be patient because the journey that you're on takes time. And so even when it comes down to, me pursuing my healthcare professional dream, I've been talking about that since I was a kid. As a matter of fact, when you met me, I was receiving a scholarship from the T.E. Leroy Jefferson Medical Society. And so they are in the West Palm Beach area, and they were giving out scholarships for the first time at Glade Central. And I was the first recipient of that scholarship at our school. And you came through the exact same day that they came in, and they was just like, man, this gotta be. I remember that day to a T, bro. Wow. Like that, and then you came back with a bunch of your successful friends that were from the mark, or just you had met them on your journey, and that sparked everything that I'm big on now when it comes to just being mug made and bringing success stories back to help the kids out, man. And so, bro, I'm telling you, but. In that throughout this journey, bro, I've just been reminded, especially in our conversations that, I've been able to have with you, is that the greatest things in life take time. The hardest mountains to climb take time. The darkest times to get out of take time. And when you're intentional, when you're strategic, and you put patience in that thing, you allow wisdom to come in and teach you how to get out of it in the right time. One of the things I tell people all the time, go ahead, bro, listen.
No, go ahead. Because it's like, you can wait when you have perspective. Come on. Time is, we don't have perspective of time.
Yeah.
We think it has to happen now. We think we're living because we're living in the show me time. Mm-hmm. If it's not on social media, then it didn't happen, which is a lie. Like some of your best experience happened without social media. So
right there.
We have to understand. I have a perception of time of I'm here for the long haul. Mm-hmm. I'm here for a bit. I'm here till I'm 90. Yeah. I'm here till 90.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when I know I'm gonna be here till 90, then I don't feel like I have to rush everything within a 2-3 year span.
Facts.
I don't feel like I have to be running and chasing what everyone else is doing. Facts. And seem like, oh yeah, this big. Like, no, I need to go with my appropriate time, because again, I'm a husband.
Yeah.
I'm a father.
Yeah.
I'm a business leader.
Yeah.
I'm a spiritual leader.
Right.
Brother.
Right.
Like I'm not just a business guy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not just you. Like the sum of me is not just, hey, Luke was just a great businessman. That's not all I'm known for. Right. I'm known for so many different things. So because I'm known for so many different things, and I do other things, my time has to be spread out through that. Mm-hmm. I'm not Mark Zuckerberg. I don't want to be Mark Zuckerberg.
Right.
Like these billionaires out there, like these.
Right.
That's their role. That's what they want to do. That's what they want to be known for.
Right.
But each of these individuals, for me, hey man, I want to be known when they lay me in that casket. He was a great father. He was a great brother. He was a great friend. He was a great husband. He was a great business owner. Mm-hmm. He was a spiritual leader. His yes was yes. His no was no. He loved people.
Right.
And he did.
Yeah.
Man, he built the biggest company, blah, 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 blah. Hey, bro. No, he loved people.
Right.
He didn't find out, he built some great companies. He did this. But, man, that man loved his children. His children, what are my children going to say about me? What are my grandchildren going to say about me? What am I believe I'm going to like to see my great-great-grandchildren.
For sure.
So it's like, what do they say about me? If they can't look at me and say, hey, man, I want them to look at me and say, hey, man, this dude is wisdom personified. Grandpa's wisdom personified,
Ooh, you preaching out, boy. You preaching out. But you tapped into one of the questions I was going to ask you, and it's how has your definition of success been altered because of the wisdom that you have, and that speaks to it right there. And this is a principle, and with me, we talk often. So in one of our recent conversations, we talked about how we are defined as men. And at 26, it's hard. It's a hard reality, but I'm learning it slowly but surely. I'm at a point where I've learned it enough to apply it. My success and who I am is not defined by my bank account, my relationship status, my career, what I drive, where I live, and what I do for it. It's not. Who I am and my success is defined by my obedience to God and the character and integrity that I walk with. And seeing, you know what helped me kind of like put that in perspective up close? Seeing you up close. Like seeing you up close, man, you not the business owner coming in suit and tie with the your $1 million loafers on, you in the trenches with us, You pulling up, you rocking Jordans to the business meeting. You know what I'm saying? but it was conversations with you was never centered around just elite, and I'm talking about times in which we had some very, very big business to handle. It was, man, how you doing? Like how you live? Like what you think? What you think about this? Like we had conversations that weren't even business related that brought a lot of things business related into perspective. And so my integrity as a man has just been, given so much more perspective, which is another thing that I talk about in the book. Perspective is wisdom's best friend. When you get perspective on something or a situation, you're able to invite wisdom in just that much more. She feels a lot more comfortable. And so seeing you and having the perspective of now, like, this is what success is. Success ain't defined by, what you rocking or if you wearing the latest designer. And don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of all of that stuff in its time, in its season, in its time. But like more than anything, I've learned that success is defined by who you are as a person and how obedient you are to God. And seeing that up close from you, bro, shout out to you, bro. Like you're wrong, bro.
For me, I would say success to me is character. Character. Because whether I have money or whether I don't have money, whether the business is profitable,
right,
or we're break even, or we're not profitable, what is my character?
Right.
Because again, circumstance is going to change. The economy is going to go up. The economy is going to go down. Like that's just the nature of life, nature of business, nature of family. We know that, right? But what doesn't change is your character.
Yeah. And
if your character is one that's stable, one that's honest, one that's just, one that's level-headed, you have like, bro, that's success. Because no matter what situation comes your way, you'll be able to survive. Recession comes, we live it. Depression comes, we live it. No matter what, because again, man. And I'll say, like we talked about, like losing our mothers, like losing my mom. Like I went through a severe. When I say, man, I went through a bad depression. I had it like, I had it bad. And even now, certain days, you hit me on certain days, I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like I had it bad, but because of my character, because of what I've learned, I was able, with the help of God, rise up out of that thing. Have a will to fight, but that's character. That's something I say for our generation. In our generation, people don't value the character that a woman has, the character that a man has. Like your character, other stuff you can be rich today, poor tomorrow, gone. Man, that stuff is when the Bible says it really is fleeting.
It is,
I don't care. You can get sick and then it's fleeting. So for me, I can never pump my chest at what I have or what I'm doing, because something that will have nothing to do, a storm can come, blow everything that you trusted in and believed in, anything that you had, blow it all away.
For sure.
But that character no matter whatever happens, you'll be like, you know what? Guess what? We're going to let's get it.
Exactly. So that leads me to the last question that I have for you, bro. With character being how you define success and wisdom being a principle that you stand on, how do you use wisdom, or how does wisdom help you set goals for yourself moving forward from the success that you've established?
I'll say wisdom lets me know, I use wisdom. I use wisdom as an aid to. I use wisdom as an aid to my prophetic gift.
Okay.
So if I know I meditate, I pray. You know, praying is talking to God. Meditating is listening to God. Right. So when I'm listening to God, God is telling me, "Hey, I want you to do this. I have this in store for you." Let's say I'm meditating. And God is like, hey man, I have for you. It's in the cards for you. I want you to, you're gonna have $100 million. Your business is gonna net $100 million, right? That's what the word of the Lord is. Wisdom is how to get there. Who do I need to partner with? How do I need to systemize my business? How do I franchise my business? That's wisdom. Wisdom is going to is getting the knowledge to set those goals. Like the goal is this.
Yeah.
But wisdom helps you say, okay, set these mini goals to get to this big goal. Because sometimes when God tells us something, or we hear a word, you're supposed to do this, we think it's supposed to happen overnight, or we think God is going to come and dump a whole bunch of money on us, or we're going to inherit it. Not saying that it can't happen, someone can't leave an inheritance for us, but most of the time God drops something in our spirit, so we then can use his tools, which is one of the tools is wisdom, to get to that expected end.
Yes, sir.
The expected end. How do we get there? We use wisdom to get there. We use wisdom to grab goals. Wisdom is the principal thing. Like if you look at, I think it's Proverbs, I haven't read it in a long time. I think it's like Proverbs chapter 8. It says, wisdom has poured out her wine. She has She speaks from the pillars. Come, all who need wisdom. But that's a spiritual call to say, hey, if you have a goal, if you have an objective, if you have something you need to do, come to me.
Right.
Ask for me. Like every morning, along with success, along with covering my family, along with covering my business, covering my employees, keep protecting us from every side.
For sure.
I come to God with God give me wisdom.
Yes, sir.
And understanding to manage my day, to manage my family. And when I pray those prayers, like throughout the day, it's like God just gives me a supernatural way to look at life. He gives me a supernatural way to manage what I have, to manage my employees, to manage, different things that I have coming my way.
Right.
And we have to understand. I understand that wisdom is the thing that I need to help craft my goals and to help me accomplish my goals.
Listen, bro, you said a mouthful. One of the sayings that I live by, and I was having a conversation with one of my other mentors around this time last year, he was saying how people in our generation, we were talking about how we want it fast, we want to get there, but nobody wants to go through the process. And in that moment, like I remember God telling me, like, I don't make answer keys. God does not make answer keys. He only makes textbooks. So a lot of times we want the answer key to whatever it is that we are facing. Whatever the goal is, we want the answer key. We just want to mark it. The answer is A, we want to mark A. Whole time, God is like, no. I've given you the tools to build what it is that you are doing. Just go build it. And wisdom is the principal thing. And so I remember watching this interview by it was Pastor Stephen Furtick and Bishop Jakes. And so Bishop Jakes says, God doesn't make furniture, he only makes trees. And a lot of times we be praying to God like, oh God, give me a chair, give me a table, Give me this, give me that. Whole time, it's a tree in the backyard. And if you go back there and you cut it down, you put the work in, you use wisdom to form that tree into whatever it is that you are asking for, you'll not only have the chair at the table, you'll have an entire living room set if you really wanted it. And so with you just saying that, bro, it just puts a lot more into perspective, not only for me to discuss on the podcast, but also for me to live by and remind myself that wisdom is the thing that gets me to where it is, and that's the real reason why I wrote this book.
But what don't we want? But what don't we want, man? Like, look at your life. Like, what don't most people want to do? Most people don't want to put in the work. They want someone else to put in the work. They want the benefit of someone else putting in the work. But we know as men, we're supposed to be builders. As people in our community, as leaders, we're supposed to be builders. So in our mindset, it should be, what do I need to do to build, to grow, to expand? Like instead of saying, I just need a blessing. Because if you look at the rhetoric that's been preached in our churches, the rhetoric that's on TV, whether it's sacred or secular, it's always, I need this, I need that. It's not, I got to work to do. I got to go do this.
Exactly.
Do this. And it ain't none of that. It ain't none of that stuff. It's always, I got to go. I want. Give me, instead of the mindset of let me go. It's the hunter's mindset as opposed to waiting for it to happen to us. And if we think as hunters, we need wisdom because we need wisdom to stay on track.
Exactly.
We need wisdom to catch that prey.
Exactly. We from the muck, right? So one of the things that we do out here is chase rabbits, and I'm reminded of I pay attention to a lot of different things, in culture and things like that. And so this year, and the Chinese year, is the year of the rabbit. And so when January 1st hit, I put up on my Instagram story a picture of some dudes from the city that had went out and they caught a bunch of rabbits. And I said, if you are from the muck, then this year has to be personal, because this is the year that you got to go out and you got to chase down your dreams. You got to go get what it is that God has for you. And, out here in the muck, that's a part of the culture for us. We don't have a Walmart in our city, bro. Like, we don't. There is no mall that we can just ride 10 minutes down the road to and get to. We don't have a Publix in our city. And that is why I'm so proud to be from here. I'm part of the culture and the standard that you and your generation that came before me set, the people that are in my generation are setting, the people that coming behind us are setting. Because being from the muck makes you hungry for a success that is not so readily given. You gotta go get it.
Gotta go get it.
You gotta go get it. And I'm so big on going to get it that I can't sit still. It bothers me to sit still. And I know that sitting still comes with patience, and you gotta be willing to wait for God to open certain doors so that you can move forward. But I cannot sit on my hands and do nothing. In the book,
we were talking everything good, anything good, we gotta go get it.
You gotta go get it. In the book, I talk about in the chapter of patience, I talk about working your way. And the idea came from my mom and how she wanted to make squeezes, and anybody know what squeezes are? Most people call them frozen cups, but they the thing that you want during the summertime. And so while she would put her drink into the freezer, she would go take her mind off of the thing that she was waiting on and go put in work somewhere else. Whether it was a homemade project or, doing something around the house, whether it was, my mom used to build things from scratch. So I'm talking, she used to build jewelry. She built a deck outside of our house that, unfortunately a hurricane came through and tore up. But with her bare hands and, us putting our hands to the plow, like she went outside and she built these things all not because she wanted that thing so bad, but she was working her way because she knew that at the end of that day, the end of the 8 hours or the 6 hours, whatever time she had to wait, bro, like she was going to have something that she was purposefully waiting on, that she put in the work to have. And, I'm just big on, using those little life lessons that I learned from my mom. Like, I'm waiting on something. I'm waiting on the promise of God. I'm waiting on either my career to take off, or my finances to get to a better position, or me to just reach a certain level in relationship, or whatever it is that I'm waiting on. I gotta work the wait though. I gotta put in the work. I gotta prepare for what it is that I'm waiting on, and that is why we need wisdom. That is why partially I wrote this book because when we get knocked down, a lot of times we have this sympathy card that we give God, like, God, I done been broken. I need something to fix my pain. You done took my mama dead. I don't have nobody to call on. Give me something for this pain, God. All the time, he's like, I don't give out sympathy, but I'm empathetic for you. And a lot of times we confuse it too. We want God to fix our problem and give us a consolation prize. Whole time, God is trying to fix and develop us and get us to the next level. And I'm telling you, bro, grow up. That's it, bro. That's it. And so that's really why I wrote this book, man. And so to close out this episode, you're going to get your copy of this. Hopefully you're able to make it to the release party that's going to happen later on this month. But tell me one thing you're looking forward to reading about in this book.
First of all, I'm looking forward to getting it, but I'm also looking for. I'm a buy a whole bunch, but I think I'm gonna give it to my employees.
That's love, bro. That's love.
I'm trying to give it to like everybody here. Hey, everybody get this book. This guy used to work here. He's doing some great. He's an author. Read his book. Y'all need wisdom. What I'm looking for from the book, I'm looking to glean more wisdom, man. I'm looking to gain more insight, and I'm looking to read your maturity and to read through your pain, and for you to get where you need to go. Because for you to write a book, is not a small thing, and for you to write a book about wisdom on a subject that's very difficult, on a subject that a lot of people are not writing about. A lot of people are not writing about wisdom. A lot of people rather write on fun things or cryptocurrency or how to flip $10 into a bird. How to, people just, finance, don't know nothing about money, but the first one to teach people about money.
Right.
But I'm interested to read, man, what God has deposited in you for the culture and for the generation. This book may not get worldwide acclaim now. It may get worldwide acclaim 10 years from now, 20 years from now. And always remember that. I'll tell you, don't think for now. What I'm doing for me, what's going on right now with Hilaire and my family, it ain't for now. It ain't for this generation.
Yeah.
It's for the generation behind me when they can look like, somebody, so they're able to bridge the gap of somebody did that during that time. Yeah. It's like I'm always fascinated when you think about the 1920s and the 1930s and the 18. Oh yeah, there were black millionaires. Oh, there were black people that were free. Oh, there were black people that had this and had that. It's like you're like, oh shoot, really?
Yeah.
Well, they can do that back then with everything they had going on.
Right.
With racism, Jim, if they can do that back then, what is our problem now?
Facts.
And so that wisdom, the wisdom that you're putting now is like someone can go back and say, man, this dude wrote this back in 2022, 23, and bro, this thing is relevant today more than it was back then. Yeah.
Bro, you, thank you, man. First and foremost, thank you for the support. Like, I remember writing my first book, and I was working for you at the time, and you were one of the people when I was wrestling with the confidence to put out something at 21. You let me know that I had a voice, and that. Again, same thing you saying now, same thing you said then. It's not for the generation now. It's for generations to come. And thank you for always being somebody who poured into me, just being somebody who I could go to when I didn't understand what was going on. You were one of those people that definitely have permission to speak into my life, and my wisdom always sits with her cup open. Whenever you are in the building or you are in the room with me or we having a conversation, man. And so from the bottom of my heart, Luke, I appreciate you, man. You will never know how much I appreciate this relationship, man. But I pray that every time we connect, man, it just shone a little bit more. But yeah, man, that concludes episode 2 of season 2 of the Wisdom Walkers podcast, man. Again, Luke, thank you for coming through and blessing the people with all this good wisdom, all these good gems, man. For those of you who are wondering where you can get my book, go to Amazon, type in my name, and find this book. Don't worry about any other book that you see. Get this one. This is the one that's going to change your life, because this is the one that you need to get through the dark times and walk towards the promises that God has for you. Appreciate everybody that's been rocking with me thus far. Love you guys, and until next time.